Hey everybody, welcome back to Art a la Carte. I'm back. I was gone for a few weeks because, I got COVID. And while I thought, yay, a 2-week quarantine with being able to do art sounds fabulous, I pretty much spent 2 weeks in my room sleeping or coughing or blowing my nose. Not a pleasant time. Don't recommend getting COVID, but I'm on the other side. I am recuperating. I'm almost back to 100%, and I am ready to create some art. And then I got some fun new art supplies. I want to make a 3-dimensional art piece that uses a painting, like a scene painting, but puts it behind a window. One thing I was able to do while I was sick was play a lot of Skyrim, and so I want to make a medieval castle window because I'm inspired by dragons and stuff. So I am first drawing out the design on my computer, and then I'm going to port that over to my Glowforge. Alright, after waiting for this to work, it is now workable. Go! So I have these pieces here. While those are drying, I'm going to actually work on the window scene. And the supplies I'm going to use are going to come from this month's Smartart box. Smartart box is celebrating World Watercolor Month with their own 31-day word prompt. So I didn't get to participate this year because I was sick for a good portion of it. But the nice thing about this is you can do this whenever you want. This is a great way if you're having some artist block or just don't know what to create, to take one of the prompts and challenge yourself to see what you can create. As far as the supplies that were included in this box, I went ahead and opened them while I was sick. I was hoping it would inspire me to do some art, but I just didn't feel quite up to it. But let me show you what was in the box. So first is this very cool wooden easel that when you do a painting, you could display that. I don't know that I would use it to actually paint on, just because it's pretty small and lightweight, but it would be very fun to display some art. They also included this behemoth of a watercolor palette, and this thing is really cool. It has 3 open slides, a whole bunch of wells in here for your paints, and then workable paint surfaces. No place to hold on for your thumb, so you can just work in this area all you want. Before we get into the heart of what's in this box, they included a fun little sticker, as well as this Charms sweet and sour pop. This is sweet mango and sour tangerine, which looks amazing. Lastly, we have 5 items. First of which is this 10-pack of watercolor gouache. We have some watercolor paper, and I've been noticing that they've been branding a lot more of their stuff. So this is the Smartart premium watercolor paper. I think it's really fun that they brand their supplies. The only downside with this is I really enjoyed trying out different brands of supplies out there and then knowing I could go and buy more of those. So that's the only bummer, but it is really cool that they are thinking to brand their own things. So there's pluses and minuses to that. Artist brush set. Love getting new paintbrushes. I'm thinking this one is so cute. I love tiny brushes, are really my favorite. And lastly, we have some Peebo drawing gum. So this is the stuff that you shake it up really good and then you paint it on an area that you want to preserve the white of your paper. Then you can paint over top of it after everything's dry. You can peel this stuff off and underneath should remain pristine and white and clear. So let's go ahead and try out these paints. So I'm going to start with my lightest colors down here and work up. That's going to work the best for having a silhouette, because I'm going to have my silhouette be down here, so I'm going to have that good contrast between my lights and my darks. So if I had my lights here going into the darks, you wouldn't be able to see the contrast of my silhouette as great. So that's what we're going to start off with. So I'm going to start with this, and I'm just going to kind of lay it right in here, and I'm going to paint over my guidelines so I know my painting goes outside of that border. Add a little bit of water to that just to kind of smooth it. Also, this lets me see exactly how opaque this is. So right now I can see my red line just a little bit, but not too bad. I have my two colors here, and so I'm just going to clean my brush off with some water and go in over top of this with just the wet brush, and it should blend those two in nicely. And I'll have some more water up here, and I'm going to add in my red. I'm just going to very carefully bring that down. When your brush gets a little too mixed with colors, you can take and tap the paint off up here, because I'm not going to use this part of the paper, so I can kind of clean my brush off. I'm a little bit darker at the top. So I'm just going to work that area between the red, purple, and blue, so I don't have such a line. I might sweep up and sweep down a little bit and then go back to that side-to-side motion. And clean my brush really well. And then you'll see I have a pretty strong line between the purple and the red, so I'm going to go back to my red, and I'm going to pull in a little bit of my orange, and I'm going to go right in there and activate that, and then I'm just going to work that line up. Oops. See, I went ahead and pulled too much color here, and when I swiped here, it brought my darks down. So I'm going to go back in with that yellow. I'm just going to blend that out. And I'm probably going to want to bring this yellow down just a little further, because you want to make sure, I'm going to cover up a lot of this down here with the silhouette, but I want to make sure that I have a nice sky coverage just in case it goes a little lower. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a cloud technique, so it's going to bring in a little bit more whites. So I'm going to grab in my white gouache, put a little bit right there, clean my brush really good. And there's so many different cloud techniques you can do. I'm going to start off with just my brush, and I'm going to stipple some of those clouds in there. And I don't want it to be stark white, but I'm just kind of building in the cloud shape. And you'll notice I'm turning my brush as I stipple. That way I'm not getting a stamp effect, that I'm getting just the same chuk 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 look all the way across. I want it to be different. All right, and then I'm going to pull in some of this yellow and stipple the bottom sides of my clouds with a little bit of yellow, just so it looks like the kind of the sun is kind of highlighting the bottoms of those clouds a little bit. I might pull in just a little bit of red and just diffuse out just a little bit. And then I'm going to pull in some of this purple. And remember, a little bit goes a long way, so if your clouds get too dark, you don't have to wash your brush, just clean it off a little bit, and then you can kind of just go and stipple that out, and then that gives your clouds a little bit of density. So like You can see the sun isn't quite getting through all of those clouds. It'll load up my brush so it's nice and full of paint. I'm going to roll it so I have a little bit of a point, and then I can begin sketching in. So let's first put some ground in here. So here is my ground shape. And again, I'm taking that silhouette over the edge. That way I know when I cut it, there won't accidentally be a small piece of the paper that I didn't paint and showing out there. And if I want to see kind of what this is going to look like, I can just take my window set and just kind of set this right here. So because there's a lot of detail in the top of my window, I don't want like if I were to put a dragon, I wouldn't want to put it here because you're not going to be able to see it. But I could put it right in here, something, and it would be pretty cool to see. And because I have placed this, painted over my allotted space, I can move this a little bit so that it's a little bit easier to see. But I want to see if I can paint a little dragon in here flying. So I'm going to use the very tip of my brush, and I'm going to try to do this without drawing it in. There we go. A little dragon there. Yay! So while this is drying, I'm going to continue working on my windowsill. Alright, my pieces have pretty much dried. So now we're going to do the part where we put this chipboard piece on top of my window pane. Alright, now we're going to take our glue, and I'm trying to decide the best way to do this, and I think I'm just going to squirt a whole bunch on my plastic. I'm going to take a little bit of this water and kind of water it down a little bit so it becomes more of a little bit of a goopy soup. Then I think I'm just going to press this into it, and I'll just get that glue evenly coated on the backs. That went on super easy. I want this to appear to be the wall of the castle, and for that I think I want to do some stonework. So I have a couple options. One, I have this piece of foam board that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I can just peel this off, and I have some really nice foam core, which I can make into stone bricks. So that's what I'm doing. Don't need too much. I'm just going to cut that off like that. Stones right here. So as these bricks get done, then I can just begin to lay them on my window, and then I can cut them later because they're styrofoam. I can cut them out of here. So I'm going to get some of this glue. I'm going to whoosh right on there. Use what you get. There's my mortar, and I'm just going to put my first brick right in there like that. I'm going to find my next brick. Squish that right in there like that. You just don't want the end of one brick to be on top of another end of a brick. You want to stagger those, so you want a full brick in between those. So here I have this brick, and even though I would normally want to put it over here to start that end, it would make this line match up. I'm going to put it right there, and then I'll take another little tiny brick and stick it, smush it in there. It'll be fine. So I will have to cut this, and then I'm going to have to finish off the bricks on the inside a little bit with some touch-up paint, but that shouldn't be too hard. Okay, So I cleaned this up. I lost a little bit of brick here, which I'm going to have to replace. So I'm just going to take another brick and just kind of cut a little corner. And make sure that fits and glue that in there. Okay, I also have the option to trim this edge off to make it nice and neat along here. But I kind of like this broken brick a little bit. I wish it was a little bit more out this way, so I could actually come in here with some extra brick and kind of glue in some pieces. The final thing I want to think about before putting this in is, do I want to put in some window panes? And I could do that with, if I had glass, I could cut glass, but I don't. But I could even take this packaging and cut this out and then glue this to the back of this window, and then it would actually appear to have like some glass window. So that's an option. So the only thing is, having the glass in here is going to cause a reflection, which may diminish the look through the window. So if you're not sure you want to do it, go ahead and cut it out, put the pieces all together without gluing it, and see how you like it. You can always not use the plastic piece. Alright, after many attempts to color all of these, I think I finally found a quick way of doing that, which is to stick them all in a pickled ginger jar and shake with a rock. It just helps crunch them all up. And notice I actually made these rocks kind of a gray, where these ones behind here are kind of a reddish. Let it make a good transition color between the two stones. So I'm going to put that down, and then let's just look and see. Ooh, almost knocked my stones off. It's gonna look like that. It's still a little bit wet, but I'm gonna go ahead and glue on the back part. So I put a little bit of glue there, making sure this is right side up. I'm just going to secure that in place. Give it a little wiggle wiggle. Oh, it turned out cool. Definitely not, I don't think, how I was envisioned using this Smartart art kit. So it's kind of a combination of, I have these fun paints that I want to try out and do a little painting, and things that were just in my head while I was sick with COVID that I wanted to do. I wanted to try to make when I felt better, and I feel better. So until next time, God bless you guys, keep being creative, and we'll see you in another art video. Bye-bye!